Alright guys, welcome to the World Class Happiness channel. I'm Dominic. Last week I made a video which was a little bit of a rant, which is a bit unlike me really. I wouldn't say it was a rant, it was just my concerns about people who have quite an influence over kids mainly, the likes of YouTubers and rappers and stuff like that, who in my opinion aren't the best role models. And they don't affect me personally, they don't affect my life at all, really. But I just have concerns about how they influence and how they affect the future generations and stuff like that. Now, I understand when I'm talking like that, I sound a little bit old and a little bit kind of, a little bit like how your grandparents did when you were a kid and stuff. Talking about the youth of today and all that stuff. But I don't really want to come across like that. What I want to kind of do is, obviously I did at the end of my last video, I did still highlight the positives and the good things about those types of people. You know, they have the drive and the belief in themselves, and they're certainly, you know, they're very confident and stuff. But I do think that they think a lot about themselves. They have their entourages and they have all these sort of yes men and people around them sort of like bigging them up all the time. And I think ultimately that kind of then leads to they're sort of dissatisfied with their lives, and generally, you know, it's no coincidence that people in those type positions tend to end up depressed and in rehab. Not all of them, but a good majority of them, considering, like, you know, they drive real cool cars and, you know, live in massive mansions and stuff like that, and they tend to have what most people would perceive as the perfect kind of dream life. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are addicted to drugs and stuff like that, and they do tend to have their issues. So what I want to do is almost do the opposite to what they do, which is, instead of be so absorbed in themselves, I want to kind of, for us, almost think the opposite, and instead of thinking about yourself this week, I want to really think about other people. All right, so the goal for this week for yourselves and myself is to try and do something for somebody else, an act of kindness, if you like. You can choose what it's going to be, so maybe one or two things this week for somebody else. It could be somebody you know, or it could be somebody you don't know. But what I want you to do, and this is the task really, not just an act of kindness. What I want you to do is do something for somebody, but don't tell them it's you. Don't tell them it's you. Do something really nice. So in some ways that could be easier to do it for somebody you don't know, in a way. I want you to do something nice, so somebody realizes and understands that somebody's done something nice, and somebody's given them some kindness or whatever. But at the same time, I want you to do it in a way that they don't know who it is, and there's no way that they can thank you for it. Okay, just so there's no way that it can be a selfish act. There's no way it could be for your benefit. It's literally for somebody else's. Well, it is for your benefit. It makes you feel good at the end of the day, because you know that you're doing good things for the world. All right, now the reason I want you to do it like that is because it actually makes people feel even better, knowing that somebody's done something without needing any thanks, without wanting any kind of gratitude or anything like that from you. They've just got that, and that's all for them. And as far as they're concerned, they've got nothing out of it. But what you have got is the satisfaction of knowing that you are making the world better, and not just for that person. All right, this is how kindness works. You don't just make things better for that person, you make things better for every single person around them. All right, so let's say you do something really nice for a person, and it's like, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning, for example. The rest of their day, they're going to feel happy, they're going to feel good, they're going to keep thinking back to that kind act that you've done for them, and they're going to keep thinking, wow, that's brilliant. And what people tend to always want to do when they get an act of kindness come in their direction, they want to pass it on. All right, it's like contagious. They want to pass it on to other people. So probably what will happen is they'll do something similar for somebody else, maybe that day, maybe a different day, even that might just be that they're just in a good mood and they're nice to their husband or wife or their kids or their mum or the dad or whoever, and they kind of just have a much nicer, better day, which in turn makes somebody else's day nicer and better and more positive. And then obviously every single person that kind of affects, it then accumulates. You know what I mean? It's you know, you're not just affecting that one person, you're affecting, so let's say that one person then makes a better day for 2 others, and then they're gonna maybe make a better day for 2 or 3 others, and then it spreads out. So, you know, you might only actually do this one act of kindness, or give this one act of kindness to somebody, an individual, and because of that might cause a ripple effect where you affect people positively, and you might affect 100 people, all right? Or even, let's say even 10 people. Let's say you've affected 10 people in a positive way just by your one act of kindness for one person. And we, you know, and we kind of all do that, all right? So let's say at the moment I've got, you know, I think it's about 85 followers on here, so I ain't got, subscribers. I ain't got a massive amount of subscribers, but if all 85 people on here kind of just did one act of kindness this week, think how many people that would affect in our worlds. Yeah, all right. So my rant last week was that the likes of Jake Paul and you know, these YouTubers and these rappers and people are having a real bad effect, a negative effect on the world. We can then counter that by affecting the world in a positive way. All right, now I don't want this to be like, go out and sound really corny. I want it to be like a genuine kind of mission for this week for everyone. If you kind of make sure that you do it within this week, you're not going to forget. You're not going to kind of think, oh well, I'll do it later on. You know, if you try and make the point of even just one small thing for somebody, and you do it within this week, and 85 of you do it, and then maybe some others who have seen it as well, think how many people we could affect this week. You know, it might not just be your family, it could be people you work with, it could be other people on Facebook. So you could be affecting people all around the world, possibly, if maybe, you know, that person who you give this kind act to, all right, or you do something nice for, they might then share that piece of news on Facebook, for example, and they might have 1,000 friends. So then out of those 1,000 friends that those people tell, they might think, that's a great idea, I'm going to do something similar, or that's really nice, and they all have a good day. So, you know, in theory, we could affect thousands, if not even hundreds of thousands, or even more, just by doing those things amongst this little group. Okay, so I want everyone to do it. I don't want anyone to think, well, I'll leave it to everyone else. I want you to do your bit, which is just one act of kindness, or 2 or 3, or however many you want to do for somebody. Don't let them know who you are, and make sure that they know that somebody's, you know, actually gone out of their way to help them and be kind. So that's the mission. If you want to write about it in the comments, and you want to kind of let us know what you've done for somebody, even if you didn't let them know, you can let us know, and yeah, and hopefully we can all have a positive week rather than a negative one, which I hate. So we'll go positive this week. So I'll hopefully get some good feedback on that, and if you like what you're hearing on the channel, what we're talking about, then please subscribe to the channel, and I'll put out another one next week. Cheers, guys.